name is GD Tog. I like to be referred to as Tanner, but for the sake of making things easy, I'll just let you guys call me GD. And if my other commentators would like to introduce themselves.
I'm Troy of Athens.
I'm Cookie Apocalypse.
And we are underway.
Yes, we are. So it seems right now we actually just have Taggerson and JJplaysgames already started, so we'll just talk for them. And we got the jumping, we got the walking. Well, not less walking, more jumping to save frames, and a dash that'll happen right now.
Only saves about a second in the prologue, but it's useful considering how optimized the first, the prologue and the chapter 1 are. So I do believe Felix and Gix are underway as well now.
Yes, it seems that way. Everyone's out of the chapter. It's out of the prologue into chapter 1, and streams are.
We are really underway now.
Oh boy.
This is exciting. I don't know about you guys, but a 4-way race is a big deal because we got a lot of things to look at here.
This is crazy. There's
yeah,
so much
Cookie,
happening.
were you top or bottom, by the way? Sorry, I forgot.
I'm taking the bottom because they're better,
Got it on top.
obviously.
Okay, cool.
That's the reason.
And I'll be your middleman today. I'll be looking at everything, and I'm gonna do my best to explain some of the stuff that's going on. So we might as well get some of the jumps and dashes out of the way for those of you who haven't been here or are trying to get into Celeste speedrunning and whatnot. You're gonna see a lot of wall bounces or wall kicks. Basically, those are whenever you dash up against a wall and kick off of it, maintaining your momentum. Basically gives you a boost moving upwards, and there are plenty of hyper dashes and wave dashes going on right now. A hyper dash is when Madeline dashes into the ground and in turn jumps at the same time, carrying her momentum either to the right or left direction and also lowering the arc of her jump and her trajectory, which in turn gives her a great speed boost. And a wave dash is given its name from Super Smash and is basically just an airborne version of a hyper dash. So Taggerson's going to be finishing up chapter 1. Gix is going to be finishing up chapter 1. Felix, the only one who's a little bit behind here, and JJ will cap this off as well.
So something I'm noticing already is all of these runners are trying out strategies and not necessarily executing every last one of them correctly, so that we're ending up with a lot of lead changes, and so this is actually probably going to be a really close race on both ends. Like, both of these races could be really close.
So now moving on into chapter 2, we have one of probably the coolest mechanics in this whole game. These dream blocks here. They're actually really nice for. Okay, I just broke my computer. They're actually really nice for speedrunning because you can both jump out of them and you can also hyper dash out of them, which both allow you to go really fast. And there's a lot of small precise tricks you can do, and yeah, it's fast.
Yep, and moving on to the battle line section. Battle line will copy all your movements 3 seconds behind you, so that can be a problem, but not so much in speedrunning when we're just blasting through the stages.
And Gix just did a diagonal dash through 2 dream blocks, and that's a very, very tight trick. I forget how many. I don't remember how many frames it is off the top of my head. If one of you guys do know.
Not sure. Don't really care too much right now, as I'm just trying to figure out
3
see who's in the lead.
pixels, and that's probably right.
Yeah, 3 pixels then. Not frames, my bad.
So yeah, Taggerson in the last section of the battle line chase sequence.
Gix and Taggerson are neck and neck right now.
Yes, and JJplaysgames just got into that final section as well. Taggerson now out of there and is now just doing the little space block section here, and then we'll wake up.
So now at this point, Gix and Taggerson are both mostly safe from any chance of dying, but this movement outside of the main part of chapter 2 still has a big effect on the overall time of the run, and just keeping your speed high is actually really challenging here.
And yeah, we still have a really close match between Taggerson and JJ. And Gix being ahead of Felix by, at this point, half stage, almost.
So everyone getting set to enter Chapter 3 now, Celestial Resort. And for the most part, this entire chapter is very cycle-based. A lot of the rooms are on set cycles, which makes for some pretty interesting strats and a large variety of different strats, actually, for a lot of these rooms. So you probably will see a lot of differences between our runners here throughout the entirety of this chapter.
And let's see how long Taggerson keeps the strawberry, and just to say that he collects it.
Always fun to see how long you can keep a strawberry in an any percent race.
Yeah, since we don't have to worry about collecting, since we don't have to worry about collecting them, we can just see how long we can keep it.
Gix taking a little bit of an unfortunate death there. Taggerson currently in the lead across all 4 runners.
Felix, even though he's behind, has still had some pretty solid movement at the end of Chapter 2. A couple mistakes, but he's still having a pretty decent run.
And he'll be moving into the resort with the rest of our gang now.
And yep, Taggerson the first one into the big mess, which could be quite a hindrance to going fast, as we have all these walls and levels that are in our way.
As you progress through the huge mess, this room gets less and less cluttered, and ultimately the objective is you can see that key in Taggerson's screen just beneath Oshiro. Our ultimate goal is to get to that key, clean up all the garbage and stuff, and, you know, move along.
So yes, Taggerson is racing JJ and Felix is racing Gix. Those are 2 separate races, just happening on the top and the bottom.
Just, we decided to put all 4 together at the same time for just maximum excitement, you know?
And it's also a good way to make it so we don't need as many commentators, because we would have needed 4,
yeah,
but we have 3 now.
It helps with scheduling a lot as well.
Okay, Jay making it through that spike jump, and we got Taggerson in the book section now.
Taggerson finishing up the books. He's going to go for the towels last. The pattern that we have used that is the most optimal for speedrunner's sake is we go to the bottom. There are 3 different stages of the huge mess section. There are the bottom, the middle, and the top. And the pattern that we go in is bottom, then top, then middle. It is the fastest optimally and gets rid of the most, like, the more convenient obstacles. Accidental corner boost there from Taggerson. He went flying over that button.
Taggerson about to enter the elevator section.
Gix is hot on his tail. Felix getting set to start off the huge mess. And JJ's trying to clean up the towels. Cool little strat in this room here that Taggerson's in right now. We're going to do a bunch of hyper dashes off of these pressure platforms to get across to the other side of the room very quickly and ultimately beat the cycle that you would use casually. He grabs the key and retries because the key follows him even if he dies, and it spawns him back at the start of the room and saves us time rather than dashing all the way back.
Gix also gets through that room really well, and also Felix, as well as Gix earlier, having a lot of trouble with that spike jump. It can be really tricky sometimes.
Spike jumps, in my opinion, is they're one of the most inconsistent tricks in the game.
Okay, Taggerson starting up the Oshiro fight, as well as Gix, and they're both having to deal with Oshiro, which has this horizontal charge movement that happens at its set intervals, and gives a bit of a warning with a lightning bolt. But it can be pretty devastating if he's in a bad location for you.
Bonking off his head is also a possibility, so if you feel like you're going to be hit by him, and you're able to get above him and drop onto his head, you can actually bonk his head and avoid him coming all the way across the screen. And it also does replenish Madeline's dash.
And Taggerson working on the longest screen in this chapter. Almost done, and is able to get it out of there.
Very, very punishing to die in that room. As I speak that,
Aaron loses like 10 seconds. Unfortunately, no matter where you die in this room, it's not fun.
A lot of people are used to the opening cycle and a strat that they use right away, and dying can not only lose you a lot of time, but completely screw that cycle up. But Gix is able to get it on, I believe, his third try, and he'll close off that chapter as well. JJ is also cleaning up the Oshiro fight right now, as Felix is working away at the towels. These little green balls that you're seeing Taggerson work his way through right now can go one of 8 directions. One of the 8 directions that Madeline can be projected with dashes and whatnot, and basically just allows her to push through the air for the same distance as a dash. It also replenishes her dash when she's inside of them, and she can also dash out of them. These clouds are basically treated as trampolines. You wait for them to descend, and when they bounce you back up, if you jump or if you dash, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. And Taggerson doing another spike jump there has no trouble with that one at all.
Okay, we got Taggerson moving it. Oh, so trying to use the momentum there from the block. Seems to have done that hyper dash a bit too early, so was not really being pushed by the block at all. Yeah, so I think doing it just a little bit too early so that you're not getting enough distance to get to it. You can do this without the block as well, but it's much more precise.
That does give Gix a little bit of time to catch up here, despite them not being in the same race.
And in that case, it gives JJ some time to catch up.
Gix also
looks like Gix also tries to go for it, but he just accidentally jumps a bit too high.
Taggerson finally getting out of there.
Felix starting the Oshiro fight in your bottom left. JJ getting that spike jump as well.
Yep, okay, and we got the double wave dash going on Taggerson. I find that a very fun strat to do.
A very recent strat too, is it not?
I believe so. Yeah, the wave dashes aren't as commonly used, but it's certainly weren't as commonly used in the past. So I believe they've been starting to gain popularity. And yeah, you can actually see JJ's doing hyper dashes there, which is a bit harder to set up to do in that screen.
We've got Gix pulling ahead of Taggerson now.
And Felix makes it through the last screen of Resort without a death. That's really nice for him.
And so we're in the wind and snowball section now, with the snowballs coming from the right side of the screen horizontally in certain intervals, and you can bounce on them. And you don't want to get hit by them. There's slightly smaller hitboxes and no warning. So this wind is so punishing, by the way, that you pretty much can't just walk through the section. You have to dash.
Gix cleaning that up. Finishing up that last room without issue, as well as Taggerson.
JJ using the momentum for the previous screen to help him out. Alright, yep. So that's the thing that a lot of the runners are actually doing. You can see that going to the previous screen, so that, and then wave dashing so that they can have the momentum carry over to the next screen and regain the dash during the screen transition.
Looks like Gix struggling a little bit with this jump over the spikes. This is relatively precise.
Gix and Taggerson are neck and neck now. Should be exciting to see. And Taggerson using a strategy there.
Nice.
On that cutscene trigger, which spawns him at the top of the room, right next to the switch.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of runners going for that, despite it actually being a pretty simple setup.
Yeah, I think that's the first one that I've seen myself as well, actually.
Yeah,
now that you mention it.
It was shown in the task, and it's used in we use it in Chapter 2 regularly. Basically, you maintain your Y position when you skip cutscene in those certain places, but your X position is changed based on where it would be in the cutscene. So you can basically just go through the wall and end up where the button is.
Strategy or strategy like that is used in Chapter 2 as well. There was just so much going on that we didn't really get to commentate on it.
Yeah, it allows you to spawn inside the dream block in Chapter 2, between cutscenes.
Taggerson and Gix getting ready to enter the unraveling section.
Yep, and with the introduction of these Seekers. So first we're just having movement as Seekers, and after these few cutscenes with Battleline, we will see them on Taggerson's screen. And the screen, not this one as well.
The main mechanic of this section of Mirror Temple, for sure.
Here they are. So they now will spawn after you push this button, and they basically will search on the X and Y planes of the screen for you and charge at you once they find you. And you can bounce on them just like before, but they are faster than anything else that is charged at us.
And as you can see, they can actually hit the lock switches as well for you, so there are plenty of neat strats that are used, manipulating the Seekers into hitting them for you.
Taggerson having trouble with these Seekers. So yeah, they're baiting the Seeker to hit the switch.
JJ now entering Unraveling as well.
Ooh, Gix taking a rough death in this room. This is another one of those rooms, just like the end of Chapter 3, that is incredibly long and super punishing if you make any mistakes.
And you can see him retrying in certain occasions. He's trying to manipulate that Seeker to break that wall down at the bottom, I believe. I don't think it happened, though.
I think he was mainly just aiming to like hit the block, or not hit the coin.
Ooh, Taggerson failed the reverse extended hyper here the first time, gets on the second attempt there to do search skip.
Felix also cleaning up on Golden Ridge. He'll join our runners in Mirror Temple now. Very clean search skip from Gix.
That was an interesting way of doing that. On Taggerson's side, able to use frames. I guess not being able to be hurt by that thing to bounce it back into the switch.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen that either.
So now Taggerson and Gix both soon are moving into this Theo section, and basically this is probably one of the hardest parts of the whole game, because having to carry Theo everywhere just restricts your movement a ton. And like also these Seekers are already hard enough when you don't have to deal with Theo, and Theo just causes even more issues.
Yeah, and so you're not allowed to dash while holding Theo. He will carry your momentum as soon as you pick him up, though, so you can hyper dash into him and then pick him up, and it'll fly you far across the stage as a substitute for dashing, basically. Your movement is also slowed a tiny bit. Oh, Taggerson with a small death, not able to pick up Theo after dropping him there. And JJ just starting the Theo section.
Despite it being an unofficial race, this Taggerson versus Gix matchup is very, very close so far. And as you can tell, the timers are running on IGT, so sometimes the streams aren't completely in sync, but totalized with the time, they are literally neck and neck.
Yeah, one small thing to note is that Gix actually is playing on Switch, so he will probably have like slightly longer load times or whatever. So his in-game time will seem a little low, even though it isn't.
He finishes Mirror Temple at 1939. He's actually just 2 seconds behind Taggerson right now on the timer.
So Taggerson going into Chapter 6, the Reflections chapter, going right into Lake Skip, messes up in the first attempt. This is a wall bounce into a spike jump. Or actually not spike jump, it's actually like on the edge of the hitbox of where the spike hitbox doesn't exist. So you're hitting on the very edge in order to do that. So not quite the
Gix
spike
is
jump
just
that we were
choosing
referring
to go
to
around,
earlier.
take it the safe way, take the nice easy Kevin.
The amount of time it took Taggerson to get the lake skip, however, probably made for them to still be very, very close. If not, I believe Gix is in the lead now.
With his in-game time, I believe he's been ahead technically for a while.
Oh yeah, because of also because Gix is on Switch, that means he's on an older patch of the game, which means like wall bounces have a smaller window, I'm pretty sure.
Taggerson with a really smooth section there with the Kevin block, able to get ahead of it to make the falling block fall before the Kevin block gets to it.
And Gix got that one as well. JJ electing not to go for the lake skip either. Felix escapes the long room in the Seeker section of Mirror Temple unscathed.
And so we also have these pinball bumpers, which will bounce you onto the side, into the side that you hit them on, and you can also extend the distance that they hit, ricochet you out by holding the direction they're going to hit you on the frame that you hit them. It's kind of a confusing way to say that, but basically just the frame that you hit them on the right side, hold right.
I do believe Taggerson went up rather than down in that last segment. I saw a room that I don't think I've ever seen before, so that's the only reason I'm commenting on it.
I believe he did the top route the whole way through.
Unfortunate death on the bumpers.
On these feather sections. He's trying to be really precise here in order to not have to sit through the cutscene of like, getting the new feather again. And unfortunately, sometimes that just leads to deaths.
Wow, Taggerson and Gix are literally neck and neck right now. It's unbelievable.
Both of them able to fall through the crystals there, using the developer intended holds. And small water section where we have infinite dashes.
Yeah, the in-game time does state right now that Gix is about 20 seconds ahead of Taggerson. And now we get to see our good friend Battleline again.
Where in this time, instead of running away from Battleline, we are trying to get to her and headbutt her several times. And she occasionally has these projectiles that she sends out, or the laser that she'll also shoot at us.
And it's very cool how this boss fight is done. A select amount of hits per room sends her into the next one rather than a health bar. I think that makes for, you know, more entertaining stuff and more strats, more rooms. Felix in that very last room of Mirror Temple as well now. Narrowly avoiding death to the Seeker twice. 3 times make that, and he escapes. JJ also getting ready to enter the battle line fight as well. So Felix will enter Reflection now as well.
Ooh.
As our other 3 are all... Very unfortunate, I just saw that myself. Gix narrowly avoiding a death to the laser there as well.
So Gix is the first one to get into the second part of the battle and fight, where we have moving platforms that go back and forth on cycles, and Taggerson just behind.
Yeah, and as you see in the, or as you saw in the last room rather, of Taggerson's screen, the momentum can be heavily abused with the moving blocks depending on the way they're going.
But the moving blocks can also easily be like a double-edged sword. Sometimes if you jump too early, you get a lot of momentum that you don't want, and it can really mess up everything.
Oh, unfortunate death there from Gix. This last room of the battle and fight is very, very long.
And Taggerson's able to pull ahead because of that, able to finish it out before him. But in-game timers still state that Gix is actually technically ahead. Simply
Did cut it down by like 5 seconds.
Screens. Yeah, the difference definitely has been shrunken a bit, but it's still significant enough where you could say that Gix is ahead despite like getting to the levels later.
Absolutely. Summit can change a lot, so we will see as we head into the last chapter of the Any% speedrun now.
Yeah, I'm expecting potentially a lead change happening between JJ and Taggerson.
I hope a lead change happens. That'd be exciting.
We saw it early in the runs, but now that JJ has been going into the harder sections, it became a point where it just became greater and greater. But he's nearly done, just about halfway through the second part of the battle and fight, so got like 5 or 6 screens left. Oh, actually, never mind. This is the last screen here. No, second to last. No, that is the last.
Yeah, that is the last one, yeah. He finishes it off without a death as well. Also, something failed to mention, at the end of Reflection, after defeating Madeline and Madeline make up, and you are then, in turn, able to dash twice, which you'll see a pink hue of Madeline's hair rather than red.
Yes, and the summit is a culmination of all the previous chapters' mechanics, so right now we're in the city. And we got the zipper going on, and we got some keys and doors. And the zippers we didn't really use too much. Basically, when you stand on them, they will move. You can also, once you grab onto them, they will move as well. If you just simply are kind of just bounce off the side of them, they won't activate.
That's the way it is for a lot of blocks that need to be activated in this game. You either land on top of them or grab onto them, and that's how they're activated.
Looks like Felix here is about to move into his battle and fight. But while it may seem like he is super far behind, he's still on relatively good pace. All of these runners just have PBs much better than his, unfortunately.
That's how it goes in seeding group stages.
Which means we need you guys to cheer him on twice as hard.
Taggerson and Gix in the Dream Blocks section here with same mechanics as we had before with bouncing out of the Dream Blocks. A lot of people love this section. It's a very good, it's a very fun and creative area. And areas where we just are constantly in the air.
Taggerson may be getting a little bit nervous here, as you can see him taking a few deaths in this segment.
Yes, it seems that he's just not keeping track of his dashes correctly, and sometimes not getting the timing right to jump out of the space block, Dream Blocks. But is able to finish out the section and move on to the hotel homage in 1,500 meters.
And it's totally normal for our runners to get nervous, especially when they get to the summit. The closing part of the run, not only is it hard, you know, to do technically, but it's also hard mentally to get yourself in the correct mindset and stay focused.
Yeah, and especially in Summit, there's a lot of different places that, like, rooms are super long. Like, you've seen, Gix has had a couple of really bad deaths this run, and pretty much any death in, like, 2/3 of the rooms in 1500s are major time losses.
JJ fizzing his way through the 1,000-meter section of the summit.
Taggerson seems to be very practiced in that section. He was able to move through all those grades very easily, and getting hard strats, hyper dashing into bunny hops that are actually pretty advanced to do.
Yeah, doing the calculations, I was looking, and Gix is still about 20 seconds ahead of Taggerson through in-game time.
And all finish times here are still very important for every last one of them, because once the wins and losses are decided through in the group stages, the seeding the placements for the seeding for the next round are based off of the average times of the runners. So it's very important.
Gix and Taggerson. Sorry.
It's very important to win along with getting fast times. Go.
Gix and Taggerson are both doing these auto scroller skips in 2,000 meters really well. They may not seem big, but they're actually really challenging. These runners just make everything look easy.
Taggerson's PB is actually a 38-10, which means he's hot on like PB pace right now by like a lot.
That's great to hear. So yeah, now moving out of this 2500 section and that was 2000 section, excuse me, and now going to 2500.
Whoa, Felix managing to save himself from almost certain death at the end of that room in reflection. That was crazy.
I saw that as well. That was pretty nuts. So 2500 has a lot of really cool strats. You're going to see one on Taggerson's screen coming up here, where he's going to do another spike jump on the corner there. In turn, rather than taking a red ball all the way up, he's able to dash twice and go and get the key that way.
Yeah, it skips the whole bottom section of that screen, of that area.
Felix finishing off Chapter 6. He'll be moving into the summit as well now.
JJ's still not out of the running yet against Taggerson. It's just in the end of the win section of Chapter 4 homage in 2,000 meters.
The door skip from Taggerson, the madman.
Like it's nothing.
Gix unfortunately having a second try door skip, but because that trick does save literal years, it's still worth it.
So that's why he's 20 seconds ahead. Okay, so we're on the final 30 flags for Taggerson.
Gix now entering 3,000 meters as well. The final climb, you're going to see a downdraft section followed by an updraft section. Taggerson taking a couple of unfortunate deaths here.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of speed.
Gix is going to take a death as well.
Doing a lot of attempted speed strats with the wall bounces off of different areas, and there's so many spikes along with the downdraft that it makes it very hard and makes it a lot more precise and less windows for you to actually be able to save yourself.
JJ struggling a little bit with key skip in 2,500 meters, but he gets it.
JJ about to hit door skip.
Gix with a pretty risky strat there on that checkpoint. I don't think I've seen it done like that before. Very interesting.
Yeah, here's JJ on his door skip. He's opting not to do it, so he's gonna move the screen normally, which is totally respectable.
Very respectable. It doesn't save as much time as the community may make it up to.
1 whole second.
Hey, it could be the second between a PB and a dead run, though. All jokes aside, door skip is a pretty fun skip to get down.
It does look really cool once you get it down.
Taggerson and Gix both coming up on a spike jump here. They're gonna get that. Both of them. Yep. Sorry, not a spike jump, but rather a kick off the wall to avoid some spikes.
Yes, Taggerson and Gix both on same flags pretty much at this point.
Some people opt not to go for the flag 10 checkpoint, but Taggerson is lucky he did because he did end up dying in that section. JJ not too far behind in that downdraft section.
Yeah, JJ is now has started off his 30 flag 3,000 meter section, and yeah, he's doing pretty well overall. Not too far behind Taggerson at all.
Taggerson is on the home stretch. Keep in mind the PB, a 38-10. And there's the commentator's curse as he dies on flag 3. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Doing a cool trick of preserving the dash by just jumping to the other wall. And on flag 2 now.
Now, that should seal it. I really don't want to say anything.
Watch him
flag
pull a
1
rev.
death would be
He's pulling a
devastating.
rev now because you said that.
There it is. There
Okay,
it is. The 37-17 personal best for Taggerson. And Gix is going to finish as well with a 36-49. Great stuff from both of those runners. It was really nice to see the sync as well, despite the in-game time being a bit different. JJ now in the updraft section as well. And let's get some hype in the chat for Felix. This man is doing all he can to conquer the treacherous 1500-meter section.
Okay, concentrating on JJ now as he is entering the last 5 flags. Well, here's 6 first, and then it'll go into another screen transition as we go into 5.
Flag 6 is a pretty free flag, though. Just a feather and some clouds.
Anyone able to see what JJ's PB is?
I believe his PB's like mid 39, so it seems like
He's
he
just very
should
close
be
to
able
what
to
he
just
has.
barely pull it out.
If not, it's just a testament to how consistent he is right now. And so that he needs to just look into dying less, which is pretty much comes in by practice at this point.
Very good stuff from JJ as well. And 11-10, I was going to say 11-11, but an 11-11 summit, or 11-10 summit rather, sorry.
Someone's saying that he got 39.42 an hour ago, or an hour or so ago, and he just got a 39.12, so that's a 30-second PB for JJ.
Good stuff. That's 2 PBs in one race? My goodness. And it is technically the same race as well.
Yes, it is.
And hopefully we'll be getting a 3rd PB from Felix in a few minutes.
Now this is when we turn our attention to Felix. We need the hype.
Choosing not to do an auto scroller skip there.
Again, respectable. It's more of a being comfortable with it kind of thing. Now, 3 PBs in one race would be incredible.
Oh, that's right. So JJ just had another race, and so he PB'd in that previous race, and now PB'd by 30 more seconds in this race.
After not PBing in 2 months? That's
So
pretty crazy.
Yeah, so gets 2 PBs in one day, just back to back.
That's what the pressure of a race environment can do. It's a good thing sometimes. Very good thing sometimes.
Yeah, I absolutely knew this going into this. Myself, I've commentated so many tournaments, and I've known that like it gives like so many PBs happen during these races, but I did not expect the amount of PBs that have been happening so far.
It's kind of crazy. Like every run, there's a PB pretty much so far. I'm sure that'll decrease a little bit once we get farther into the group stages, but everyone's just been playing really well so far. And that's always nice to see.
Alright, for the key skip, gets it on about the 3rd try, which is very good, still saves a lot of time.
Looks like Felix is going for door skip as well.
Come out this last room, the 2500 section, taking an unfortunate death there. Felix now making the final climb.
This is looking like very strong pace for him. He could PB by like 2 minutes or more.
Can it be a sub 50? I believe it's time for you guys in chat to start counting down the flags as he hits them. Let's unite. He can do this.
Yeah, he's got a full 5 minutes to do this.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
Random hey, yeah. That works too.
The updraft section. Doesn't seem to be causing him very many problems because he is just blitzing through this right now. This is really good stuff to see from Felix. He'll get past the flag 13 as well without a death. One of the more punishing flags to die on in the updraft section, no doubt. He is on fire right now. He is just ripping through this section. And he shows no signs of stopping. This is huge. On to the final 3 flags of Summit now. Look at this pace.
I'm gonna be double happy because of how large this PB is, and also being able to get a sub 50.
Incredible stuff.
Final flag.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is 3 PBs in 1 race. Unbelievable stuff.
2 races, technically.
And Felix finishes with a 47-47, which is like a 2.5-minute PB. That's huge.
Yes, incredible.
Felix says to heck with the 48, to heck with the 49. He just jumps straight to that 47.
He's never even seen a 49.
And he never will. Incredible stuff. No doubt. Very exciting, this 4-stream format, no doubt. Lots to keep track of, but huge shoutouts to Cookie and Troy for doing a great job of keeping up.
Thank you. Good job as well.
Well, I wouldn't describe it as great, but thanks. Anyways,
Hey,
it looks
it
like we
takes
actually
some
do
time.
have a couple of our runners about to come in here for a quick interview or something like that.
Well, we can drag him
we
in
have
as
all
we
4.
want. We can actually drag him in as we
Oh
want.
yeah, all of them are here now because Felix is finished. So
Get ready
We're
for
gonna
a
bring them in
giant
really
jump, a giant jump in the amount of people talking. It's gonna be crazy. 7 people. Get in here, guys.
Oh, what's up?
Gentlemen, that's 3 PBs in a 4-way race. How does that feel?
Felt really nice.
Okay, we'll start with the
bad,
first.
man.
We'll start with the first one who got the fastest time in the of all the runners here, which is Gix. So how you feeling?
I'm not too happy with that run. It was like I'll take a 36, but I was just playing so much worse than I have recently. So some of it was nerves, but like some of it was stuff I've just never seen anyone mess up. So
Okay, and so with that, I guess we'll move on to 3 people who did PB. Gix, I'm sorry that you feel that way. So Taggerson, we'll start with you first. You getting the 37 as opposed to, I believe it was a 38, someone had said?
38-10, yes, you are correct. So, starting off in this race, I went into prologue, my hands were shaking, I was like, oh no. So, I just played to the best of my ability through the entire race. My hands were shaking. My hands are still shaking. I don't know if you can tell in my voice, probably, but I'm surprised that run went as well as it did. I've been practicing. I got my controller just yesterday. I've been waiting on a controller for 2 weeks, so I haven't been able to practice at all. So got my controller yesterday. I practiced the hecky ton out of Celeste. I was averaging like 43-minute times. I was like, this is gonna go terrible. I did not expect anything.
Okay, Taggerson, as much as I love to hear more about this, actually, we have a 10 o'clock, so I do want to
sorry.
we have
Okay,
a 10
go
o'clock
ahead.
right after us, and I do want to hear from the other 2 people who PB'd here. Go down to JJ now. How are you feeling?
I am shocked because I PB'd in the race before, going into this race like, all right, this is no way I could PB 2 times in a row, and well, you know I did.
Yeah, that must be crazy PBing in 2 times in basically less than an hour.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
I just
2
wanted
races
to
in a
point
row,
that
we'll call
in.
it, yeah.
Like that's crazy stuff. Like huge props to you, JJ. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, and finally move on to Felix getting his first sub 50 of his career in Celeste.
Technically, yes. I I got a 48-15 at some point, like on a random stream, and I just hadn't submitted it. But yeah, that was like a bundle of nerves at the beginning. Either way, this was a PB, and I'm happy I PB'd, but I was just laughing at myself for half of this run because it was so many nerves.
Okay, so thank you so much for everything here. Great job, everyone.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the PBs, and everyone here. Good luck on your races in the future. I know that even some the other commentators as well have races that they have to do. So.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Good luck to
All right,
everyone.
thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
GG's.
Thanks. See ya.
So yeah, for all racers and commentators, we all are working hard, and thank you for listening to us. And now we'll